They say the fastest way to uncover the truth is to follow the money. And when you do that in Iran, you discover a reality most reels quietly skip. From Tehran to Caracas, when regimes falter and protests spill into the streets, the unrest looks local until you notice the same unseen hands at work, toppling governments from west to east. Today, let's break down the part no one wants you to see. Let us decode the real causes behind Iran's protests. It began on 28 December 2025 with a merchant uprising. As inflation soared and the rial hit a record low, traders protested and shut down Tehran's bazaars. Soon this protest grew. From peripheries, it reached more than 100 cities. As diverse groups united around issues ranging from civil liberties to economic collapse, the movement intensified, reaching its peak in the second week. In response, Iranian security forces, including the IRGC, launched a violent crackdown, resulting in high death toll estimates ranging from over 2,000 to more than 12,000. But intense protests and violent government crackdowns aren't new in Iran. Be it the student-led protests in 1999 over censorship, the 2009 Green Movement that challenged a disputed election, the 2017 to 18 demonstrations against high living costs and unemployment, or the 2022 Mahsa Amini protests against mandatory hijab laws. The script is the same. Triggers that caused strong protests, resulting in a violent crackdown by security forces and several deaths. But there is one more thing that remains constant as well. These before and after pictures of Iran going viral with a call to bring back the Shah. So, who was the Shah? Was Iran really a beacon of freedom under him? Let's dial back in history to get the answer. And, spoiler alert, this is the first key to finding the real reason. One that no one tells you. Before 1979, Iran was a monarchy under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, an autocrat widely seen as a puppet of the West. In the early 1950s, the Prime Minister of Iran nationalized Iran's oil, taking it out of British hands, resulting in a tussle with the Shah. The Shah fled the country but returned through a coup backed by the US and Britain. After his return, again with the help of the CIA, the Shah formed SAVAK in 1957, a feared secret police that brutally suppressed all opposition. Despite the West's support and soaring oil reserves, the unequal distribution of oil wealth made the lives of common Iranians hard. For example, take a look at this graph. According to this, after socialist movements like the Iranian Revolution that overthrew the Shah, income inequality within Iran showed a significant fall. This clearly links the Shah and his policies to the economic inequality of Iran despite the country's booming fuel trade. And while the internet shows this picture to prove the Shah's rule for being modern, the reality is this. The westernization during the Shah is known to have been forced and top-down, meaning while urban quarters accepted it, the majority either rejected it outright or were forced to accept it. Then enter the tapes of Ayatollah Khomeini, an exiled cleric. Through his speeches, sermons, etc., began the 1979 Iranian Revolution, in which the Shah had to flee. And thus Ayatollah Khomeini began his regime run on Sharia law in the name of Islam. Fast forward to today. The Ayatollah's morality police impose strict dress codes on women, countless men and women are dead, and the economy? Consumer prices in Iran rose 48.6% in October 2025, while Iranian economy grew only 1% in the last 2 decades. In short, the Ayatollah and the Shah are nothing but old wine in a new bowl. So while the internet frames these protests as only a fight for freedom and modernity, the main trigger is far simpler and more dangerous. It is the empty wallet of the people and a free-falling economy. Let me explain. Let us take 4 cases: Iran under the Shah, Iran under the Ayatollah, Venezuela, and Saudi Arabia. Both under the Shah and the Ayatollah, everyday economic life for ordinary Iranians remained harsh. Both regimes saw violent government actions against their own people and countless deaths. Even in terms of modernity, the Shah and Ayatollah have eerie similarities. While one forced 90s pants, the other forced a burqa. At the end of the day, both curbed civil liberty. Now, let's go west to Venezuela, a highly liberal and modern country. But under Maduro, inflation soared and it reached a peak of 63,374.08% in 2018. If we look at Saudi Arabia, although reforms started slowly. Post the announcement of Vision 2030 under Mohammed bin Salman. Even till 2016, the society had strict dress codes and restrictions, especially on women. Till today, the country sees human rights and freedom of speech violations. But when was the last time you heard about a violent civil protest there? Therefore, the simple trend is that economically prosperous countries like Saudi Arabia, despite a lack of Western modernity, can still hold peace. But be it the conservative Iran or a modern Venezuela, a falling economy and empty civilian wallets are key to massive uprisings. It is this lack of economic strength that makes the countries vulnerable to Western influence, which further fuels political instability. The history of America and its alleged or declared role in regime change is nothing new. In Venezuela, under Operation Absolute Resolve, the US extracted President Nicolas Maduro and his wife to New York. Iraq was invaded in 2003 when US claimed Saddam possessed weapons of mass destruction, a claim later officially acknowledged to be incorrect and fabricated. Fast forward to today, and the Trump administration repeatedly threatened intervention in Iran. In January 2026, the US announced a 25% tariff on any country trading with Iran. The president claimed it was to prevent the killing of peaceful protesters. Though currently in the US, continuous reports emerge on kinetic measures against civilians in Minneapolis amid ICE actions. Now, despite the official stance of the White House, one trend is hard to miss. While Venezuela sits on the largest proven oil reserves, Iran has the 3rd largest. Not just this, Iran holds a key position in global supply chain as it controls major ports and the Strait of Hormuz, through which nearly a quarter of global oil and 1/5 of liquidated natural gas passes. So, it's safe to say that the interest of Uncle Sam in Iran is not just for human rights. This brings us to the end of our video. While there exists a direct and strong relationship between human rights and economic prosperity, it is hard to ignore how economic collapse forms the bedrock of political unrest. What is your take on this matter? Tell us in the comments below. And if you found this interesting, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to never miss another video.